I'm Natalia Norwood, and I know you all have been asking a lot of questions about this hot, crazy matrix, and all of you women have all these questions about relationships, so I've decided to answer them all here today. We've created a hot, crazy matrix for men, and we brought in a specialist from UCLA. She's a behavioral studyist, specifically for males, and she's going to talk to us about how this whole thing works and go through the chart so that you all understand. Come on, don't be shy.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
All right, so when you're dating a guy, you want to pay attention to two important things, all right? The level of crazy versus the level of hot. And she's going to go ahead and go through this chart with us and explain to us how this works. All right, how does this work? I see we've got a 0 and a 10. What are the levels of crazy?
Yeah.
And how do they relate to the levels of hot?
Well, what we do is we have 0 because we figure there really probably are some guys that are not crazy at all. And then we go all the way up to 10 because just it's very common scale, 0 to 10 on both sides. So we're going to level crazy and hot from 0 to 10.
And would you say that women are generally crazier than men?
I think we can be
a little bit,
or
that's fair.
When it's that time of the month too.
Okay, or continue.
Okay, so what we're going to do is go through the first part of our matrix. We're going to cut off the hot scale here at a 7. We're going to talk about everything less than a 7, okay?
All right.
So,
and the reason she's doing this is because if somebody's not at least a 7 hot, then there's no reason to even consider anything long term.
No.
All right, continue. Go
no,
on.
not at all. And then anything below a 7 hot and higher than a 7 crazy, this is the don't date him girl.
So for example, you know, if you get a guy named, let's say Chad or Marcus or Chris, oh, and you can't forget about Clint, all right? If you get a guy named Clint, he's probably 98, is it 98 or 99% chance?
My notes say yes.
Okay, so we've got a 99% chance that if his name's Clint, Marcus, Chad, or Chris, he's going to be in this don't date him girl zone. And the reason for that is that when your levels of crazy line up with these high levels of hot, oh, I'm sorry, the low levels of hot, actually, that's right.
Low.
The low levels of hot and high levels of crazy, you're going to get conflict, ladies. You're going to get conflict. Yes. All right, continue.
And then, after that, we go below a 7 crazy, below a 7 hot, and that's our friend zone.
Now, the reason this is the friend zone is because you want someone that's a little crazy because that's how you know they care. But you can't have a friend that's too hot. And the people that are in this friend zone, all right, you want to make sure that you don't use any illegal substances with them. No alcohol, no drugs, no drinking. I don't know what other kinds of things you're into. But you don't want to do any of this. No.
I hear they're bad.
Yes, they're very bad. No.
It's a drug, right?
Absolutely no mollies. It's
okay.
Yes. Continue. Okay, so this friend zone, you want to keep these people your friends, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be tempted to hook up with them or do anything that's misleading. So that's why you don't want to have friends that are hotter than a level 7 or crazier than a level 7. You want to keep it here in the middle, all right?
Yes.
Continue.
Then moving on, we're going to go above the 7 hot zone. We're going to start up top here. So we're going to go above a 7 hot, but higher than a 7 crazy. And that is our black eye zone.
That's right, ladies. It's a black eye zone, not black guy. Okay, black eye zone. And the reason for this is when these high levels of crazy meet these high levels of hot, there's a lot going on. These men don't know how to respond to rejection or things that they might even think are rejection that they're not. You know, like you could say, I'm on my period, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, your face is red too. So it's like, you know, you've got to be very careful. The people in this black eye zone, again, people named Chris, if he goes by Christopher, then you're good. But if he's shortened it, that means his patience
is thin. The last name Brown.
He's got no patience. Oh. She said it, not me. But yes, Chris, Marcus, Clint. Who else would you say? I mean, those are the names that we need to... All right. Anybody that works in a nightclub, bouncers, ooh.
They're going to bounce your ass in the face.
She's got a point, and I've seen it happen. All right, continue.
And then we're going to go down. So then we're going to go to about a 5, crazy. So above 7 to 10 hot, 5 to 7 crazy, it's It's our fun zone.
Alright, ladies, so the fun zone, I'm sure you can all figure out what that means. The fun zone means that these are people that you can go out with, you can go to the movies. It's cool to introduce them to some select few family and friends, because this fun zone could potentially lead into something a little more serious, but the choice is yours. You've got to be really careful who you allow into the fun zone. Make sure that you don't allow friends to cross over into the fun zone that shouldn't be there, and don't be fooled by a black eye guy.
Right. Black eye guy.
Not black guy, black eye guy. All right.
And then we're going to go to my personal favorite. A 3 crazy, between 3 and 5 crazy, above a 7 and 10 hot. Ladies, you got yourself a husband.
And the reason for this is, the reason that we've made that range a 3 to 5 crazy as someone that you'd want to spend the rest of your life with, is because you want somebody that actually cares a little bit, you know? And if they're not crazy, and that means they're doing their own shenanigans on the side, a little here, a little there, you know, on Saturday nights. So what we're going to do is, we're going to say that according to your research,
yes,
correct, that a 3 to 5 crazy, above a 7 hot? Or
yeah,
in between 7 and 10 hot? Okay, in between 7 and 10 hot, level 3 to 5 crazy, that's your husband material. All right.
Keep them.
And what do we do with this zone here?
The very last zone. It's our hookup zone.
Very important. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of grey area in the hookup zone. All right, so the hookup zone is going to be anybody between a 0 and 3 level of crazy, and a 7 to 10 level of hot.
Yeah.
If they're not at least a 7 hot, keep your panties on. What is the issue? I don't understand. All right, so explain to me why we want this level of crazy here. What?
Well, studies indicate that we need, in the husband zone, we need someone a little crazy so they care. If it's a hookup zone and they're between a 0 and 3 crazy, which means they're very minimally crazy, they're not going to be knocking on your door in the middle of the night if you're not answering your phone. If a booty call happens, right?
That's absolutely right. They're not going to show up at your apartment. They're not going to come to your job.
Right.
They might sleep with your friends, though. That's the only thing.
But they're not crazy, so you don't have to worry about drama.
I suppose. Well, sleeping with my friends would be drama, but you know what? We'll talk about that later in the next vlog, maybe tomorrow.
I didn't think about that.
But you know what? If they're in the hookup zone, you want to keep them here. You want to make sure they're hot because you need to get what you need. Everybody's got needs. And you want to make sure that they stay between a level 0 and 3 crazy. All right? We also have one other thing. Now, this is something that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. The level of sensitivity.
Yes.
I think that we should add that. Do you mind if I switch places with you, or do you want to put it there?
We'll put it right here.
Okay. All right.
Because they're very, very similarly.
Yes, sensitivity and the level of crazy are kind of interchangeable. So we want to talk about this. If a man is in the 7 to 10 range in sensitivity, where does that put me at risk if I want to, you know, for example, have him in the fun zone? How would that affect me?
Well, these zones, anything 7 to 10 crazy is 7 to 10 sensitivity. You need to leave that man alone.
Now, I had a situation where the guy was, you know, he started crying when I told him that, you know, I had started seeing someone else. And we were just in the hookup zone, and he immediately made an irrational shift into... He tried to step into the husband zone, and it was... The cycle just doesn't naturally go that way, ladies. So it's really important that you said that and that you brought up this level of sensitivity. I'm really glad that we had a chance to talk about that.
Just a chance for emotional outbursts. It's not good.
Emotional outbursts.
Yes. Especially if you're in this zone and they're above a 7 hot, 7 to 10 sensitivity
in the black eye zone, ladies. You can't deal with it. You will get pushed down a flight of stairs, especially if his name is Chris. You will get pushed down a flight of stairs. It's unhealthy, it's unsafe. You've got to be smarter than that.
Yes.
And the one thing that I do want to say about the level of sensitivity is that, you know, sometimes we think that it makes the sex better, but ladies, it's not worth it. It's not. It's not worth it at all. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm so glad that we had a chance to talk to you. Ladies, we have got a blog that you've got to check out. We want to hear about all your good and bad dates, especially the bad ones. Absolutely. We're going to leave it for you. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
And we want you to know that no children, animals, or bad daters were hurt during the production of this video. Thank you.
Thank you.